Hello and welcome to White Stallion Studios' presentation of Art WoW, a collaborative showcase for artistic talent. I'd like to thank our artists for the presentation of their work, music and dance, and I'd like to thank our narrator, Sky Yarborough, also my son, Hannah, for doing the editing for our presentation here. So with that said, let's get started with the show.
Welcome to another edition of Art Wow. Please welcome Chase Earls. I found it important to use the same methods and materials my ancestors would have used with little compromise. Using these traditional methods by digging my own clay, hand gathering the mussel shells I put into the clay, hand building, varnishing with a rock, pit firing, the unfiring pottery in an open ground fire, and engraving the designs after the pot is fired is important to capture the soul and the essence of our ancestors' style and identity. Chase goes on to share from 800 AD to 1700, Caddo pottery was an incredible and well-known tradition in North America Southeast. Trade far and wide, even overseas. Knowledge of the cultural history disappeared as the Caddo tribe was disseminated from disease and colonialism. Our last Caddo potter, a matriarch of my tribe namesake, stopped making pottery around 1908, and our tradition was almost lost. I hope to bring that unsung charismatic legacy back to light. My people don't see our ancestral pottery because our pottery was used at the end of its life as a burial offering. In that way, these culturally sensitive pieces cannot be put on public display. It is important to me to be respectfully capture the skillfulness and intricate detail and methods of our traditions in order to reintroduce its importance and create new admiration for our tribe. However, I also feel deeply that our tribe's representation and communication throughout the design and creation of pottery would have evolved over time with the introduction of new situations and environments. For that reason, I also strive to present a new charismatic and sculpture interpretation from my own experiences as an ambassador to the Caddo tribe and its ancient cultural identity.
Hello, my name is Dolores Nisdale. I'm of the Comanche tribe, and I've been painting since I was 13, and I'm self-taught, and I've been inspired by nature and the Bible. My first painting is about how the people are asleep in their teepee, but the Father never sleeps. And the name of this painting is The Father Never Sleeps. He guards his people always. And the next painting is Winter Hunt. It shows a white buffalo. The white buffalo means good medicine for the tribe. And the next painting, we shall mount up as eagles. This is from Isaiah 40:31. And my next painting is a white stallion, and the name of this is Comarosa, which is my grandfather's Indian name. And the last painting is Eye of the Eagle. His eye is always watching. Thank you, and God bless.
Hello, my name is Larissa Medina, and I like to do illustration as well as graphic design, which I am studying to become a professional graphic designer at the University of Colorado, Denver. What inspires me to do art is that when I was little, I used to love to color, and as I got older, that love for coloring went to drawing. And being a shy person was a way for me to communicate my ideas without always using words. Now that I'm learning graphic arts, I can translate that same idea into doing visual concepts as a career. A couple of things that I enjoy about doing my art is that I have the freedom to make anything that comes to mind. For example, I love being able to design or draw skulls, and as well as other things that are influenced by the tattoo world. I also like being able to follow my own process and go at my own pace. So for my first piece, I will present my most successful design I have ever made, called Till Death. I made this design for a snowboard design competition hosted by Never Summer Industries and Warren Tech. I created this using programs Procreate and Adobe Photoshop. The main idea behind my design is life and death, and how we need to live our lives to the fullest and in the moment, because you never know when your time is up. The design won a spot in the Never Summer Top 10 Snowboard Student Designs Competition 2019, and also won first place in the Scholarship Award in the Graphic Design category at the 48th Annual Jeffco High School Art Show. This design is now copyrighted by Never Summer Industries. Calaveras del Sol was one of my favorite designs to make when I was learning different ways of production. I created this using Adobe Illustrator and a Maya embroidery software to create this. I based this design on the Day of the Dead along with my last name to personalize my project. I created my skateboard design Nocturnal using Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. I always thought of owls as being an interesting bird as I grew up listening to stories about them. Also in Alamosa, which is where I am from, remember seeing them and hearing them from time to time when I lived there. Since they are a nocturnal bird, I wanted to represent that using neon colors on a dark background. I made the skateboard 3D using Photoshop. My only part to meet again is a portrait I did in honor of my grandmother who passed. I was really close to her, so I drew my favorite picture of her and me, along with her favorite bird, which was the hummingbird. I also wrote within the background one of her last letters she sent to me. The only part to meet again title comes from a tattoo that I got in honor of my grandmother, as well as a hummingbird that represents her. I created this drawing using Procreate. For my last piece I would like to present would be my poster design Skulls and Marigolds. I created this piece drawing the skulls using graphite and charcoals, and then painted the marigolds using Photoshop. I originally created this as a poster and then later made it into a t-shirt design under a clothing business I created called Violente Apparel, using the process called sublimation. As of right now, I'm not taking any commissions due to my college responsibility. However, please check out my website with other pieces that I have done. Thank you for your time and for looking at my creations.
And the next painting is a white stallion, and the name of this is Comarosa, which is my grandfather's Indian name. And the last painting is a white stallion, and the name of this is Comarosa.
Hello, my name is Crisosto Apache, and I'm a Muscalero Apache Navajo poet and writer. I want to give thanks to Thompson Williams, uh, who asked me to be a part of the show, and also to the organizers and other artists that will be presenting their work through this show. Again, my name is Crisosto Apache. I'm originally from Muscalero, New Mexico. I was born and raised on the Muscalero Apache Reservation. I'm Muscalero Apache, Chiricahua Apache, and Dene Navajo. On my Navajo side, my clans are Salt Clan and Towering House Clan. I earned my MFA at the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe. I'm an assistant professor of English at the Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design in Denver, Colorado. I'm also the assistant editor for the Offing Magazine, an online publication that publishes poetry, fiction, art, and essays, among other artistic expressions. So this poem is number 34, called Conquered, with a quote. That 7 or 8 years ago, he hadn't understood color. He realized now, unquote. Akutagawa, number 34, color. As I permanently expect, I unscrew the caps to each paint tube. I squeeze the first paint tube to release a bit of titanium white color. I then squeeze the second paint tube and scoop a small bit of scarlet red onto the palette. I render the two colors together, and in time I add a bit more titanium white to create an adulterated red. Each time I mix in white, I dilute the red even more. Each time I lose a greater part of myself.
Welcome to another episode of Art Wow. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Susan Yazzie, member of the Navajo tribe who lives in Denver, Colorado with her children and grandchildren. Susan says, as an artist, having to express myself in art is a big deal for me. During the pandemic, learning and art is, since we have time on our hands, we better make use of it. I make decoupage candle holders and Southwest decoupage plates.
Quaha, Kambaki Ha Nish. Hi, I'm Chad Nish Earls, member of the Caddo Nation. Hasine, coming to you from Oklahoma. I'm an artist, designer, singer, and president of the Caddo Culture Club. My artwork takes on many forms, from drawings to paintings, murals, printmaking, and digital art. I also apprenticed with Caddo Elder Phil Cross to learn how to build a beehive-style Caddo grass house. I'm all about preserving and perpetuating Caddo traditions, and visual art is just one form of that for me. I like creating new patterns, incorporating elements of Caddo pottery, and taking the next level using new materials. I also really enjoy painting Caddo dancers, showing off their regalia and dancing to our songs. In all of my artwork, you can see influences from my interest and backgrounds in graphic design, art history, graffiti and street art, skateboarding, and streetwear. One of the main things I miss right now is just being able to go to the dance, and being around everybody. And doing it, doing the things that make us Caddo. Singing the turkey dance, and before sundown, eating all the really good food, and drum dance, and then social dances all night. I'd rather be doing it than drawing about it, or painting about it, or writing about it. I've had, people look at my paintings of Caddo dancers, and it sparks memories of the families, their stories, when they used to dance, and maybe even inspiring them to dust off their moccasins or shells and come out. I enjoy that part of it, and it goes far beyond just a pretty painting hanging on a wall.
WoW presents Michaela Lopez. Michaela Lopez has been dancing since she was 7 years old. Michaela made her way up to the highest level of Latin dancing internationally. By the time Michaela was 14 years old, she was competing all throughout Europe and occasionally trained in London with the best dance instructor in the world at the time. Holding the title of first place Czech Championship, fourth on European Championship, and sixth in the World Championship with the formation team. To her, dance is life. Music runs through her veins. To quote Michaela, "It has a grip on me, and it keeps pulling me back throughout my whole life."
Sidanta. Hello, my name is Robin Biku Williams. I'm a traditional and digital artist from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm Wichita, Caddo, and Comanche. My subject matter is always life and love. It is what inspires me, whether it is a portrait of someone I know and love, or a flower, or a landscape. I use many forms of medium like watercolor, acrylic, digital art, or photography. My goal is to express my own view of the world and hopes to inspire people to see the beauty in all things. Hoey and Sutits.
Art WoW presents Rhonda E. Williams. The artist Rhonda E. Williams Otomazara is a great-granddaughter of noted ribbon work artist Madge Pettit Dent. She was given her great-grandmother's Indian name, Hugretoemi, which means the four main support poles. This symbol is the four main poles can also be found in her artwork signatures. Rhonda studied sculpture under Christy Myers, a well-known sculptor. She furthermore studied art at Rose State College in Midwest City, Oklahoma. Her art ranges from mixed media, acrylics, and clay to sculpture. Rhonda's paintings usually have traditional designs with contemporary elements, with bright, vivid colors. Adding clay, bone beads, horsehair, and texture, the artist enhanced her work while at the same time keeping them in line with traditional themes. Through her art, Rhonda wants to pass her passion and feelings to the viewer.
Art Wow is pleased to present Desmond, Grass Dance. The grass dance, or Omaha dance, is a style of modern Native American men's powwow dancing originating in the warrior society on the northern Great Plains. Unlike most forms of powwow dancing, the grass dance regalia generally has no feathers besides the occasional roach feather. The regalia consists of brightly colored fringe made from either yarn or boardcloth or ribbon. The original creators of the grass dance and the purpose of the dance are widely contested. Sources attribute possible origins to the Omaha, Pawnee, Anishinaabe people, Ponca, Dakota, or Winnebago tribes. While the specific tribe of origin is unknown, it is generally accepted as a Northern Plains dance that was used by warrior society. There are several stories behind the origin of the grass dance. One is that a medicine man told a handicapped boy to seek inspiration in the prairie. There he observed the swaying of the grass and received a vision of himself dancing the same style as the grass. When he shared this vision with his village, the use of his legs were returned to him, and he performed the first grass dance. Other origins attribute the grass dance to scouts blessing and flattening the grass for a ceremony, dance, or battle. The dancers would also then tie braided grass into their belts. Tying grass to the belt is believed to have led to the yarn and ribbon common today. The grass dance is a fast-paced dance consisting of sweeping motions and symmetry. It is generally faster than the northern traditions or street-style dancing, but not as fast as a fancy dance. Like with most powwow dances, the dancer brings his foot down to tap or step on the drum beat. Whatever the grass dancer does on one side of his body, he must also do that on the other side to create the symmetry and mimic waving grass. Wide sweeping motions and tapping are also used to imitate laying down the grass. Other movements show a warrior stalking the enemy or game through tall grass. One dance step typical of this involves one foot being firmly planted on the ground while the rest of the body moves around it. This is said to show a warrior still fighting when one foot's been staked down. Again, Art Wow is pleased to present Desmond, Grass Dancer.
Coloring in the lines. My district has decided to return the students to school in alternating groups. It has only been a week, and every single COVID-adapted activity is a glaring reminder, a stark contrast to how life used to be. Today, the 5 kids in one classroom were asked to help remove flags so that the lawn could be cut. The flags are colorful plastic triangles on pieces of wire stuck in neat rows in the ground to mark designated play areas for contact tracing. The playground has been empty all day because the fires in our state have rendered the air quality dangerous in more than 5-minute intervals. So these sun-starved little humans ran around pulling flags like it was their greatest joy, and it hit me then. What if removing these boundaries, like coloring outside the lines, is cathartic for them? Scribbling all over the rules, the protocols, the proper response to an epidemic. Like all your feelings and artistic expression don't fit neatly into the picture as it was designed, so you let loose. Because scribbling is the only way to release everything that's been held inside. Maybe it felt so good to pretend that the adults in charge might never put the flags back. Maybe if we all tried hard enough, we could believe that 5 children in a classroom is normal. It has only been a week, and I can tell that even though their return to school isn't what they thought it would be, it still beats staying home. Their little voices ring out at the end of each day. I don't want to go home yet. I don't like it there. It's boring. Next week, when they come back to school, the flags will be back. The illusion will be over, but their little imaginations will be gearing up for the next great make-believe. And we adults in charge will do everything we can to keep them safe. Remind them to wash their hands, to keep their distance, while encouraging their creativity and challenging their minds. Because having them around gives our work purpose. And watching them run across the school grounds with carefree abandon, picking up plastic flags, reminds me, that coloring in the lines can only get us so far. That the immediate is only as dire as our willpower allows. After all, the grass will need to be cut again eventually. And we've got another 5-minute mask break coming up here soon. So when yours comes, what will you choose to do?
Welcome to another edition of Art Wow. Today, we're introducing Sky Yarbrough. Their work centers around activism, and their art seeks to paint pictures on top of the dominant culture. She writes, I have 30 years of photography experience and this opportunity to capture various themes form the basis of my art. In particularly, my frontline work focuses on the contrast between culture and class. I try to highlight the real hopefulness of life through my photography as a mixed ancestry and lineage woman of color, Black and Native America experience with a disability. As a multi-visual media artist whose art reflects that of intersectionality and artistic spirit as a latent emerging artist. Her single sheet work as a dry pastel uses recycled, refurbished, reused, and repurposed materials. Also uses dry pastel in order to reduce water waste. She writes, "When making my art, I am thoughtful about how my materials break down in landfills. As an artist who is conscious about my carbon footprint and my goal is to minimize it through my art."
Hello, my name is Sarah Ortegon. I am Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho. I graduated with a Bachelor in Fine Arts from the Metropolitan State University of Denver with a concentration in drawing. And the thing that inspires me the most is Indigenous people throughout the world and the land that they come from. The thing I like most about my art is the fact that I'm an Indigenous woman, so it comes from an Indigenous woman's perspective. My artwork focuses on Indigenous people, and I like to paint and add beadwork onto my paintings. Sometimes I'll do different types of materials, but I do commission pieces, and I would love to work with anybody who has an idea that they want to have me come up with a concept for. Thank you.
Good day. Welcome to Art Wow. Our first artist is Thompson Williams. White Stallion Studio, the Native American art of Thompson Williams. James Coburn of the Edmund Sun says, mind, body, and spirit integrated holistically in Thompson's brushstrokes. His creativity seems organic, flowing from a deep personal reservoir. The artist says, my painting focuses on the spiritual heritage of my ancestors. Thompson shows the pride he has in his native people by using a wide variety of painting styles to express the feeling conveyed by each painting.
Thank you for watching our show. I'd like to thank the artists for participating. And any questions or wish to contact the artist in particular, contact us through the email that's along with the presentation that follows. Thank you.